你的频道里面是不是也有那种你自己都觉得做起来有点公式化的影片？2026年7月16日 YouTube 把不真实内容政策重新讲了一次，这不是新政策，这是旧政策第一次被讲清楚。这个政策管的不是影片能不能上架，是频道能不能继续赚广告钱。踩到线不是下架，是整个频道被拿掉盈利资格。这一次出面说明的是 YouTube 信任与安全的副总裁亲自上节目，把过去很模糊的说法拆成3种具体类型。如果你正在用 AI 做影片，或者是你在做任何一种教学型、故事型的内容，这3种内容类型里面很有可能有一种正好是你现在正在做的事情。哪3种？现在我就拆给你看。How's Grayson 这频道专门拆解 YouTube 流量以及变现逻辑。如果你想频道当成事业来做，一定要记得订阅。我也准备了一份 YouTube 新手成功宝典，你可以在留言区去免费领取。先讲清楚一件事情，这不是新的政策。这位副总裁在访谈一开始就讲了，底层的规则是完全没有改变的。YouTube 只是把过去那个很笼统的说法拆解得更加具体，让创作者知道到底哪里踩到线了。第一段的访谈片段，他直接讲出了这3种类型分别是什么。
So first of all, just to say out loud, there's no change in our underlying policy at all. I'm not here today to announce any kind of a new policy. We haven't made any changes. I'm here just to try to break it down in a little more details to help creators understand what we allow and don't allow as it relates to YPP. There's kind of 3 buckets we'll talk about today. One is generic and repetitive, like content that is sort of the same and repetitive. It's made with templates and there's not much variation from video to video. Like that is not something that our viewers wish to see a lot of, and that we want to provide an incentive for people to make, and therefore we don't want it in YPP. The second is content that we might call, off-putting or distressing. That's the type of content that we say, like, look, if you're trying to just get views by doing something emotionally manipulative or make distressing content, that's not something that we want to encourage either. And then the third bucket that we'll break it down into is something called AI personas. And this is where you may have created a persona that's AI. And if they're talking about sensitive topics, so like AI personas may be fine overall, but if you have AI personas that are talking about finance or legal issues or healthcare, medical issues, we don't want to provide an incentive for that right now either. And so any of those 3 buckets are things that we will not allow into YPP if a channel has too much of those things.
第一种是模板化的重复内容，用同一个模板，内容大同小异，换个标题和缩图就再发一支。这里有一个容易被忽略的细节，抄的不一定是别人的东西，抄自己也算。如果你的频道长期用同一套的公式、同一种节奏、同一种的结尾方式，换个主题就再复制一次，即使每支影片讲的事情不一样，也有可能被归进这一类。第二种就是令人不适的内容，为了流量做情绪操纵，让观众看了不舒服。第3种就是 AI 分身，如果你做了一个 AI 虚拟人设，让他去谈财务、法律、医疗这类敏感的话题，这是被明确点名的类型。这3种任何一种在频道里面占比太高，都会被排除在 YouTube 合作伙伴计划之外的。注意，是排除在盈利计划之外，不是整支影片被下架，这2件事情是完全不一样的。那我们接着往下看。
Community guidelines are the rules for the road for what's allowed on YouTube. Okay, so like certain content, if we think it meets our bar of egregious harm, we'll say that should come down. Like we don't allow sex and nudity on YouTube. We don't allow hate speech on YouTube. We don't allow suicide, self-harm content on YouTube. A number of policies that say like this is just too much. It doesn't belong on YouTube. We remove those. That's what community guidelines are. YPP, the YouTube Partner Program, is totally different. It is what we're going to allow, which channels are allowed to monetize, to have ads run against them, to have use our monetization features, and to be for the channel, not the videos, like what community guidelines and other individual entities are about. But for channels, we look at the channel as a whole, and there is a higher bar to be in the YouTube Partner Program. Anybody can upload a video but not anybody can be in the YouTube Partner Program.
这一段很多人会搞混，我帮你理清一次。社群守则管的是这支影片能不能出现在 YouTube 上面，才到线直接下架。YouTube 合作伙伴计划管的是这个频道能不能赚钱，它看的是频道整体的状态，不是单一支影片有没有问题。换句话说，你的影片可能完全没有违反社群守则，可以正常存在，但是因为频道整体内容是偏向刚刚讲的那3种类型，还是会被拿掉盈利资格的。这是2套完全不同的评估逻辑，你要分开来看。
Some of these videos you see and they show an animal in distress, and maybe there's a little story to it, but the core of the story is an animal in distress, and then someone comes and saves the animal. And if you have a channel that is has a lot of that content, is sort of dedicated to that kind of emotionally distressing, manipulative content. We've heard from our viewers that that's not something that they like. They find off-putting. They don't want to come back to that channel, or maybe even the platform after seeing a number of those videos in the same channel. We'll remove that from YPP. We see the same thing with putting minors in distressing situations. They might want to see it once, or they might follow the end of the video, but they don't want to see it over and over again. And so if we have channels that are doing that, we'll remove them from YPP. Also, one thing I would say is that we're agnostic to what any tools that are used to create the content. Like if you make it with GenAI, great. If you make it without GenAI, that's great too. Or any other tools in there. Our policies are independent of how the content is made.
先讲这一类的特性，这一类其实是3种里面最主观的一种。动物受苦，未成年人放进令人不安的情境，这些例子听起来是很明确的，但是实际的执行上，判断标准会比另外2种模糊很多。连 YouTube 自己都承认，这是靠大量数据去衡量观众的观看反应，不是一条清楚的红线。如果你做的内容情绪张力是比较强的，冲突、崩溃、震惊这类元素，它的比重是比较高的，这一块的分寸是需要你多留意的。这里有一个很多人会误解的重点，我要特别拉出来讲。YouTube 他说的很清楚，他们对于工具是中立的，不是因为你用了 AI 内容就会有问题，也不是因为你完全手工制作内容就一定安全。判断的标准从来就不是工具，是内容本身有没有原创的观点，有没有你自己的叙述脉络。这里给你一个更加具体的画面，同样是做 AI 虚拟人设的，一种是包装成健康顾问，用一个看起来像真人专家的角色去教观众怎么吃药，观众是很难分辨这是不是真人的，这就是被点名的高风险类型。另外一种就是创作者拿自己的 AI 分身去玩梗，放进历史场景里面做娱乐内容，而且清楚的标示是 AI 生成的，这种用法就完全没有问题。差别不在于你是否用 AI， 是有没有诚实标示，还有没有踩进到财务、法律、医疗这类会直接影响到观众决定的敏感领域。这句话翻译成白话文就这样，你不需要纠结要不要用 AI， 你需要纠结的是你的内容有没有一个只有你会说的角度。接下来这段内容会直接讲到 AI 规模化这件事情，还有为什么有些创作者明明很努力了，却越做越危险。
Look, any new technology creates all kinds of great opportunities, but can also create things that are not as great. And AI in particular, you can create a lot of content inexpensively and really fast. And in the past, we've looked at mass production is usually kind of content farming. Now AI can actually allow people to make a lot of videos. Sometimes those videos are great, leveraging these tools, and it really enhances creativity, and you can create a higher volume of high quality content that we want to encourage and have in YPP. But that exact same new tool can allow you to make lots of videos really quickly that are very similar. They're very generic and don't really have a narrative arc and don't really show your creativity. So the same technology really enables great stuff, but it also enables stuff that's kind of content farming. And that's the stuff that we don't want to have in YPP.
Whether you use AI or not, whether you use CGI or not, conventional, stock, any of those things, you still want to tell a great story. I mean, that's the essence of being a creator. You're sharing your personal voice, your personal vision. You're sharing hopefully an arc of stories over videos where there's a progression of your talent, your ability as a storyteller. And you can see the channel, you can become invested in the channel. And I think that's the part that sometimes people feel is missing. There's suddenly 3,000 identical videos, like cookie cutter videos up there.
这一段其实是整支访谈里面我觉得最关键的一句话，不是工具的问题，是故事的问题。很多人会以为找到对的工具，套对的模板，内容就能够起来，但是 YouTube 现在讲的很直接，观众要看到的是一个频道有没有成长轨迹，有没有一个持续在说话的人。这正是很多卡关的创作者他们会遇到的情况，发了一段时间的影片，数字没有起来，回头看自己的内容，发现每一支影片都像是独立的事件，彼此之间是没有累积，观众没有理由记住你的频道跟别的频道是有什么不一样的。这不是内容量的问题，是定位有没有清楚的让演算法和观众都知道你是在为谁服务的。这也是我在我的 YouTube 频道运营大师课里面花最多时间带学员解决的问题，不是找更多工具，是把频道的定位还有内容策略先建立起来，让每一支影片都在累积同一件事情，而不是各自独立。连接会放到影片下方，你可以看一下这门课程是不是适合你。
Sometimes we see tutorial videos on YouTube and they'll say, hey, there's this new trend and it's a banana and it's a strawberry and they're talking about stuff and here, let me show you how to make that and then you'll get it and make a bunch of money in YPP. And it's like, you know, if there's already a bunch of it out there, making the next one or the next channel that's making all the same kind of stuff is just, you know, it's generic, it's repetitive, and there's just too little variation and creativity within the channel, then the channel won't end up staying in YPP or won't get in the first place.
Yeah, I think sometimes people look and see a tutorial and think if the tutorial is there, it must be okay. And that's not always the case.
Definitely not. I mean, there's a bunch of these tutorials and, you know, honestly, I'd say don't waste your time. I mean, you know, focus on the core things that we talk about, which is being creative, being original, you know, bringing your authentic thought process to creating content. And if you're doing that and there's variation from video to video that people find interesting and compelling and satisfying, you know, it's probably what we want to put into YPP.
这段我特别想拉出来讲，因为这种现象在中文的创作圈也是一样常见的。看到一个题材爆了，马上就有人出教学，教你怎么复制同样的公式，跟着做的人就越来越多了。最后整个题材变成大家都在做一样的东西。这位副总裁讲得很直接，这种内容是不值得你花时间去跟的，因为当市面上已经有大量相似的版本，你的频道只会越来越难通过盈利的审核。这也回应了前面的那句话，工具还有模板从来就不是捷径，他们只是让大家都一样这件事情发生得更快了。
The number of flags that a video or a channel may get has nothing to do with how an evaluation is done of that channel. In this case, we're talking about YPP. You know, when we look at a channel, we're literally comparing the content in the channel and the behaviors and the creator responsibility policy. We're comparing it to what is our guidelines are. And it doesn't matter if one person has flagged it or 1,000 people have flagged it or our scale detection flagged it. It just doesn't matter. And, you know, sometimes we make mistakes. And so there's an appeal avenue for creators. They have 21 days to appeal a suspension decision. And then if it turns out, no, you know, I've appealed, but we've decided it's still, you know, the right thing to do is to suspend based on the current content on the channel, people can reapply. Creators can reapply 90 days later. You know, we hope that the creator will have uploaded new content that is the kind of content that we want in the YouTube Partner Program, and then maybe they've gotten rid of some of the content that they know is probably undesirable for that program, and we evaluate with a fresh set of eyes. And I can tell you, people reapply after 90 days all the time, and lots of them get back in, and we're happy to have them back in.
这段给你一个定心丸，也给一个实用的资讯。第一，被检举的数量，不管是一个人检举还是1000个人检举，跟频道会不会被拿掉盈利资格完全没有关系。YouTube 看的是内容本身，不是检举的次数。第二，如果真的被停权，你是有21天可以申诉的。申诉之后，如果结果不变，90天后可以重新申请。很多创作者会在这段时间里面调整内容方向，重新申请之后成功恢复盈利的案例并不少。所以这不是一个一次判定生死的机制，你有时间可以修正，也有管道可以重新来过。在片段最后的那句话也呼应了我们一开始讲的，这不是一 一个新的政策，是旧的政策换了一种说法，讲得更加清楚了而已。规则没有变，变的是你现在知道怎么去看懂它了。这次的更新说到底就是一句话，工具从来不是重点，你有没有再说一个只有你能够说的故事才是重点。你可能会想问，那我要怎么知道自己的频道是不是已经在刚刚讲的那3种灰色地带里面？答案其实不在这3种分类本身，是在更前面的一步。 YouTube 在2026年悄悄地修改了很多规则，复制爆款的策略开始失效了，连 AI 搜寻都开始分走一部分原本属于你的流量，而大多数的创作者根本就没有发现。政策在管你能不能赚钱，但是演算法它在管你有没有机会被看到。这2件事情其实是同一套逻辑的2个面向，你可以接着去看这支影片，规则一直在变，看得懂的人才能够走得下去。